Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this explosive edition of Talk Show Tensions, where we dive deep into the most unforgettable meltdowns and walkouts that have ever graced British daytime television. Today, we're peeling back the layers on a moment that's been buzzing across headlines, social media feeds, and water cooler chats for weeks now. The shocking incident where acclaimed actor Colin Firth, the man who brought us the stammering charm of Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice and the quiet intensity of George VI in The King's Speech, was unceremoniously kicked off the set of Lorraine Kelly's beloved ITV morning show after what can only be described as a heated, no-holds-barred argument. Picture this. It's a crisp autumn morning in the heart of London's bustling TV studios, the kind of day where the city hums with anticipation for another episode of light-hearted banter, celebrity gossip, and feel-good segments. Lorraine Kelly, Scotland's own queen of morning telly with over 3 decades under her belt, is in her element. Warm, witty, and always ready with a cheeky quip or a heartfelt question that draws out the best in her guests. Her show, simply titled Lorraine, has long been a staple for millions, blending fashion tips, cooking demos, and star-studded interviews into a comforting routine that feels like chatting with a favorite aunt over tea. But on this fateful day, the air crackled with something far more electric than the usual sparkle of studio lights and applause from the live audience. Colin Firth arrives looking every bit the polished gentleman we've come to adore, tailored suit hugging his frame just right, that signature furrowed brow hinting at depths unspoken, and a polite smile that masks the whirlwind of thoughts behind those piercing blue eyes. Let's rewind the clock just a tad to set the scene more vividly, immersing ourselves in the electric atmosphere of the ITV studios on that unassuming Tuesday in early October 2025, where the scent of fresh coffee mingles with the faint hum of lighting rigs and the chatter of crew members fine-tuning the last details before going live. The Lorraine set is a cozy haven of pastel blues and inviting armchairs, designed to make stars feel at home while the world watches. Think plush cushions embroidered with subtle floral patterns, a coffee table laden with vases of seasonal blooms nodding gently under the air conditioning, and a massive window backdrop simulating a panoramic view of the Thames on a sunny day, even if outside it's drizzling as only London can. Lorraine Kelly sweeps in like a force of nature, her signature bob. Haircut impeccable, dressed in a vibrant emerald blouse that pops against the neutral tones, paired with wide-legged trousers that scream effortless chic. At 66, she's a veteran of the small screen, having helmed this slot since 2010 after years on GMTV. Her resume a tapestry of scoops from royal weddings to heartbreaking disasters, all delivered with that disarming blend of empathy and edge that keeps viewers glued. Today, her guest list is star-powered, a quick segment on autumn fashion trends with a rising stylist, a demo for pumpkin spice lattes from a celebrity chef, and then the main event, Colin Firth, whose presence alone boosts ratings by double digits, his name synonymous with brooding romance and understated heroism that has captivated audiences since his Darcy days dunking into that iconic lake. Firth, now 65, steps out of his chauffeured car with the quiet grace of a man who's navigated red carpets from Cannes to the Oscars, but there's a weariness in his step today, perhaps from jet lag after wrapping reshoots in Scotland or the emotional residue of embodying Swire's endless quest for accountability in the Lockerbie saga. Now let's zoom in on that pivotal exchange, frame by frozen frame, as if we're dissecting a cinematic showdown scripted by Aaron Sorkin himself, because what unfolded in those next few minutes was less an interview and more a verbal cage match, with the stakes feeling oddly existential for two people who, on paper, should have been allies in storytelling. The studio lights, those unforgiving halogens that cast long shadows and highlight every bead of sweat, seem to intensify as Firth's rebuttal lands, his voice gaining a gravelly undertone that echoes the anguish he's channeled into his role. Lorraine, I've spent months walking in Jim Swire's shoes, reading his wife's letters, hearing from families who still set an extra place at Christmas dinner. To call this exploitation is to dismiss their agency, their plea to be heard through art when inquiries failed them. There's a pause, heavy as lead, broken only by the faint rustle of an audience member shifting in their seat, the collective breath held in a room that's suddenly too small for the emotions swelling within it. Lorraine, no stranger to tough spots, remember her on-air tears discussing her own PTSD from Lockerbie reporting, a vulnerability she shared in a 2023 documentary that humanized her beyond the glossy host persona, doesn't flinch. Instead, she fires back with the precision of a debate champion. Agency? Colin, as a journalist who stood amid the wreckage, sifting through debris that was once dreams and lives, I can tell you spectacle risks turning victims into vignettes, profitable props in a narrative that fades after the credits roll. Isn't there a line where homage blurs into opportunism? Her words are measured, But the subtext stings, laced with the authority of someone who's lived the story, not just portrayed it, and for Firth, who's poured his own paternal fears into the performance. Imagining the loss of his sons Will, Joe, and Matteo, it hits a nerve raw as exposed film. And just like that, the dam bursts. What begins as intellectual sparring erupts into something visceral, personal, the kind of raw confrontation that live television both thrives on and terrifies, as boundaries blur and the fourth wall crumbles under the weight of unspoken histories colliding in real time. Firth, his face a mask of controlled fury now cracking at the seams, rises halfway from his chair, voice booming with an authority that silences the room. You speak of wounds, Lorraine, but have you considered how silence wounds deeper? Jim Swire didn't fight for obscurity. He demanded the world see the blood on the hands of those who lied. If that's sensationalism to you, then perhaps your lens is too safely focused on tea-time pleasantries. The words land like a slap, the audience erupting into a mix of shocked inhales and scattered applause, the energy shifting from spectator sport to powder keg. Lorraine, undaunted, her career built on batting back barbs from bolder egos than this, snaps back, her accent thickening with emotion. Tea-time pleasantries? I've shoveled through the literal rubble of that crash, Colin, while you were off perfecting your posh stammer in drawing rooms. Don't lecture me on depth when your demands come with a director's chair and a paycheck that could fund a real investigation. Oof, that's the gut punch, dredging up class undercurrents and authenticity debates that simmer in British media, where working-class grit like Lorraine's often eyes Oxbridge polish like Firth's with wary side glances. In the whirlwind hours following the dramatic exit, as the commercial break bleeds into a hastily rewritten segment on celebrity faux pas through the years to fill the void, the world beyond the studio walls erupts in a digital deluge that would make even the most seasoned PR maven sweat through their silk blouse. Twitter, sorry, X, lights up like a Christmas tree on steroids, with hashtag Colin Firth Walkout and hashtag Lorraine vs. Firth rocketing to the top global trends, amassing over 5 million impressions in the first hour alone. Users from housewives in Hull to Hollywood insiders in the hills weighing in with memes, hot takes, and heartfelt defenses. One viral clip, slowed to half speed with ominous music underscoring Firth's mic drop, garners 2 million views on TikTok before lunch, captioned, "When Mr. Darcy meets real tea spilling," spawning duets where fans reenact the standoff in Regency gowns and newsreader blazers. Mainstream media piles on, The Sun blasts, Firth's fury, Oscar snub for Morning Mayhem, on its front page, while The Guardian pens a thoughtful op-ed titled, From Pemberley to Pan AM. Why Firth's outburst honors Lockerbie more than any interview, dissecting the exchange as a meta-commentary on trauma's commodification. BBC News runs a balanced panel with a psychologist opining on celebrity trigger points, and a Lockerbie survivor's relative praising Firth's commitment, their voice cracking over Zoom. He got it right. Jim would applaud that fire. Lorraine's show, Ever the Phoenix, airs a follow-up tease at the segment's end, with her assuring viewers, Colin's a class act. We'll chat off air, I'm sure, her smile belying the knot in her stomach as emails flood in from ITV brass demanding a full report.